Pokemon has come a long way since the days of Red and Blue. Over the years, some Pokemon have gotten all the love. Mega evolutions, regional forms, new evolutions, Gigantamax, you name it. This is Pokémon LeafGreen, and in this playthrough, I am banning any Pokemon that Game Freak has given any kind of an update to. New evolutions? Out. Mega forms? Gone. Regional variants? Not happening. Gigantamax? Get out of here. If it's been buffed, it's banned. So, what does that leave me with? Well, it's not much, but these are the Pokemon that time forgot. Oh, and because I'm playing on LeafGreen, you guys are out too. To make things even harder, I'm also playing a Hardcore Nuzlocke. That means no items in battle, strict level limits, and if a Pokemon faints, it's gone forever. Can these guys carry me to victory, or will this challenge prove why they were left out? Let's find out. Alright, attempt number 1. I grab a Squirtle called Subscribe, whose entire purpose is to help me catch our first real teammate, a Spearow named Password. After cruising through Viridian Forest, it's time for Brock. Now, you've probably heard the saying, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, I've got the impossible task of killing 2 stones with 1 bird. Password puts up an amazing fight, even managing to take down Geodude. But when Onix comes in swinging, it's just too much for our little guy. And with that, attempt 1 is over. Rest in peace, Password. You'll be missed. Alright, so it seems a little dumb to keep trying to take on Brock with just a Spearow, right? Well, there's actually one more encounter we can get here. In Pallet Town, you can fish up a Staryu. Yeah, I know this is technically not how the game's meant to go, but honestly, we need all the help we can get. So, welcome to attempt 2. This time our starter is Staryu, who we call Birthday. Alongside Password the Spearow, we're starting to look like a bit of a team. We take down our rival, and honestly, things are looking pretty good. Full of confidence, and a little bit of laziness, we take our level 10 Staryu to Brock. Well, it turns out Birthday is more than enough, taking down Brock's entire team with just 2 water guns. And just like that, we have our first badge, and we're off and running. On our way to Cerulean, we pick up our next encounters. A Nidoran called Anniversary on Route 3, and a Paris called Deadline in Mount Moon. We also narrowly avoid losing Password to a Rattata on the way. After Annie evolves, it's time to take on our rival, who turns out to be a complete pushover. What's not a pushover though is this Ekans on Nugget Bridge. It lands a critical hit on Birthday, who then falls to wrap damage at the end of the turn. What a dumb way to lose our starter. Rest in peace, Birthday. We keep things moving, adding Drinkwater the Bellsprout to the team, and after a half-hearted grinding session, it's time to take on Misty. Things are looking like they're going from bad to worse here. After taking out Staryu, Misty's Starmie comes in and wreaks havoc on our team. Our luck somehow gets even worse as Starmie lands a critical hit on Deadline, who only hits Bullet Seed twice. My only option here is to hope Starmie goes for Rapid Spin. With that, I make the switch to Anniversary. Somehow my plan pays off. Anniversary survives and Poison Point activates, taking out Starmie and keeping the run alive. What a play. Fresh off this victory, we make our way down to the SS Anne, adding our new teammate along the way. Meet Drowsy, who I decide to call the Kids. Don't ask. Naming themes are not my strong point. After another uneventful rival battle, it's time to get our third badge. Armed with the now fully evolved Anniversary and the TM for Dig, we take out Lieutenant Surge's Voltorb and Pikachu with ease. His Raichu though is a bit more difficult. It sets up 5 double teams. 5. This is just the first instance of the Gen 3 AI loving accuracy strats, which in my opinion is the lowest of the low. Luckily, there's not much his Raichu can do to us, and we eventually land 2 body slams to get the win and our third badge. We make our way to Celadon for our 4th badge. After another rival fight, we add Alarm the Doduo to the team, and we're ready to challenge Erica. Feeling cocky, I switch into Alarm to take out her Victory Bell. This is Alarm's first and only contribution to this run, so thanks Alarm. After some back and forth switching between Deadline, Password and the Kids, it's Anniversary who lands the finishing blow on her Vileplume. 4 badges down, 4 to go. After some talented investing, we're able to add a Dratini to the... That's a tongue twister. We're able to add Dratini, who I'm going to call Bins, to the team. I know Dragonite is a bit overpowered, but hey, you can blame Game Freak for not giving him a Mega. We tie up a bunch of loose ends, taking out Giovanni, getting the Self Scope, beating Snorlax and catching Lockdoor the Goldeen and Bag for Life the Venonat. Now it's time to take on Koga. The Kids is the go-to guy for this one, taking out most of Koga's poison types with some strong psychics. We do get poisoned and a little low on health, so Password comes in to finish him off, earning us our 5th badge of the playthrough. We now have access to Surf, which means I can get another encounter. Meet Wash Hands, the seal. Hands comes straight into the team, and it's time to head to Saffron City. We storm Southco and take on our rival, Paul. He's much improved from the last time, but still not good enough for this band of rejects. We also make quick work of Giovanni, who really didn't offer much. Now it's time for badge number 6, and it's time for Deadline to shine. Armed with a base 20 power leech life, he mows down every trainer in Sabrina's gym, unrelenting in his rage. Deadline lands a one-hit KO on Sabrina's Kadabra. Up next is her Venomoth, so we switch to Password. Not to be outdone by Deadline, Password decides to go on a tear of his own. He takes out Venomoth, Mr. Mime, and Sabrina's ace, her Alakazam, in just one shot to secure us the 6th badge. Now, I wish I could say there's some high level gameplay for the next 2 badges, but honestly, if you want to grab a drink or something, now's the time. Hands just decimates everything that stands before her. First up is Blaine. I mash the A button like I never have before, spamming Surf on Hands like a man possessed. There's nothing Blaine can do as his entire team falls, one Surf after another. His Arcanine puts up a small fight, surviving a Surf, but honestly, that just annoys Hands more, who lands a critical hit. 7 badges down, 1 to go. We're in the zone now, and after all that A button mashing, I accidentally accept Bill's request to go to the Sevi Islands. After a strange side quest, rescuing Lostel from Hypno in the forest, and yes, the Kids makes an appearance, we make our way back to Kanto, and it's time for our 8th badge. Fresh off a nice break, myself and the A button are refreshed and ready to go. Up next is Giovanni, whose ground types really are no match for Hands. 5 Surfs later, and we've got ourselves our 8th and final badge. Giovanni somehow thought this was an intense fight, but trust me, the intense fights are still to come. That's right, it's time to take on the Elite Four. I've got the team up to level 60, the same as Lance's Dragonite, and it's time to mount our assault on the Pokémon League. We do have a bit of a weakness to ice, and the guys who aren't weak aren't exactly powerhouses, but hey, I've got a plan. My genius plan starts with the Kids setting up some meditates. Equipped with Rest and a Chesto Berry, the idea is to set up meditates and then go to town. The Kids gets to work, and once at +3 attack, takes out Dugong, Cloyster, and Lapras with Brick Break. In comes Slowbro, who uses Yawn, and that's when I realised the Kids has Insomnia, meaning my Resto Chesto strategy would have been useless. Let's make note of that for later on in the run. We switch in Deadline, who tanks a Surf. After a really nice Giga Drain, her Slowbro lands a critical hit Ice Beam, ending the run for poor Deadline. Benz comes in and finishes off Slowbro with a Thunderbolt, and Hands takes out Lorelei's Jinx. 1 down, 3 to go. Bruno is, as always, a complete cakewalk. Hands takes out his first Onix with Surf. Yes, I said first. Yes, he has 2 Onyxes. Is it Onyxes? Onyxi? Oni? I'm not sure. Anyway, the Kids takes out Hitmonchan, Password takes out Hitmonlee, and Annie finishes off Machamp with a juicy crit. Annie also takes out Bruno's second Onix with Earthquake. Easy peasy. Next up is Agatha, who, like most trainers in this region, loves to spam double team. Annie manages to get 1 bite off, but we eventually switch to Password to finish off her Gengar. Password even takes out her Golbat before we switch in the Kids to handle Arbok. Now, here comes her second Gengar, who starts putting us to sleep. Remember 2 fights ago when I learned that the Kids was an Insomniac? Well, I forgot, and I send out Password first and then Hands, who both get put to sleep. Finally, I come to my senses and send out Benz, who takes out Gengar, but things go south fast as her Haunter comes out. Totally forgetting about my Hypno, who refuses to fall asleep, I make the dumb play of sending out Password again, and she falls to a combination of Mean Look and Dream Eater. I'm so sad to lose her. We've come such a long way from that little bird who stood down Brock and his 2 rock types. In comes the Kids, who I definitely should have sent out much earlier, and he finishes off Haunter. Up next is the Dragon Master himself, Lance. We start things off with our own dragon, Bins, who takes out his Gyarados with a powerful thunderbolt. In comes Dragonair, who threatens with Outrage. Annie, who's been so reliable throughout this playthrough, steps in and takes out not just this Dragonair, but his second one too. And now we're faced with the real threat, Dragonite. So, before I show you what happens next, I want to point out that I recorded this way past my bedtime, and I implore you, please don't judge me for what I do here. I send out the kids, who tanks an Outrage. Things are looking a little sticky, and my only real hope here is that Dragonite hits itself in confusion. And then, me, being the genius that I am, decides to use Rest on my Hypno, who, as we all know, has insomnia. Yes, we've established this multiple times already. I think maybe if I used another Psychic type move, things might have been a bit smoother. But hey, the RNG gods must have felt sorry for me because Dragonite hits itself. Twice. At this point I have no choice but to switch into Wash Hands as Lance uses a full restore. We are able to tank another Outrage and Hands gets the kill with a quad effective Ice Beam. Last up is Aerodactyl, who threatens to hit really hard with Ancient Power. We barely hang on and fall just short with an Ice Beam. Of course, Lance full restores again, so we go to Bins for one last dance with the dragons. Bins tanks 2 Ancient Powers, dodging any stat boosts, and finally gets the win with a couple of Thunderbolts. How we did that without losing anyone I will never know. And now it's time to face the champion, our rival Paul. And how does the champion start things off? With a Sand Attack. The champion of the entire Kanto region resorting to scummy tactics like that. Luckily it doesn't matter to Bins, who thunderbolts his dumb bird out of the way. We then land 3 successive thunderbolts on his Gyarados, taking him out as well. And then Bins pulls through again, hitting a Surf on his Rhydon. Out comes Paul's Alakazam, and finally Bins decides to miss. This Alakazam is a monster, but if we've learned anything from this run, so is Hands. She comes in and lands a critical hit when it matters most, taking out Paul's Alakazam, who was seriously threatening to end this run right then and there. But Paul isn't done yet. He sends out his Venusaur, who sets up Growth and Sunny Day. So what do? We go into the kids, who hits a hefty Psychic. Then, somehow, the kids survives a Sunny Day, Growth boosted Solar Beam with just 6 HP left, and lands a critical hit Psychic to take out Venusaur. What a clutch moment, and I think we can probably forgive him for what he did in the Sevi Islands. All that's left is Arcanine, who hits a monstrous sun boosted flamethrower on Annie, and somehow Annie just survives. And then Annie takes out Paul's Arcanine with a devastating Earthquake, winning us the battle and the entire run. So, what did we learn? Did this ragtag group of forgotten misfits stake a claim for some juicy new forms or evolutions? Honestly, I think I'm going to see it a bit differently. Maybe these guys haven't had any upgrades because they're already perfect. Some of these guys are absolute powerhouses, others not so much, but anyway, who knows? Legends ZA is just round the corner, so this entire run might be redundant in a few months' time anyway. But seriously, this run was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed getting to use some Pokemon I would usually overlook, and I'm definitely going to look at some of them in a new light now. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much. My name is Dosono and I'm just getting started here on YouTube. The channel isn't even a month old yet, so if you enjoyed this video it would be amazing if you could like, comment and maybe even subscribe. I've got a bunch more challenge runs in the works. So yeah, I think that's us. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. And yeah, I've been Dosono and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.